Priyanka Bish from Ardent Progressive School. Today in this session, we'll be discussing about the last topics of chapter 2, which is forms of business organization. So the topics which we will be discussing in this chapter will be joint stock company, its features, merits and demerits. Second will be types of companies such as private and public company. And also we will learn about choice of form of business organization. So these are the topics which we will be covering in this session. In the previous session, we have discussed all forms of business organization of private companies. So this is the last form of business organization, which is joint stock company. And along with this, we'll be studying about what are the types of companies, private company and public company, and also the choice of form of business organization. That means which form of business organization is suitable for a businessman.
Joint stock company. Now, what is a company? A company is an artificial person having a separate legal entity. Separate legal entity means where the company and its member are considered as separate individuals, which means a company can buy and sell assets in its own name, or it can carry on the business in its own name. So the company form of business organization is generally considered the most suitable business form for organizing business activity. So joint stock company is suitable for large scale organization as it is an association of many peoples who contribute money in the company. It also has an advantage of attracting huge capital from the public as it collects a large amount of capital by issuing of shares to the general public. Now, the company form of organization is governed by the Companies Act 2013. So next we will discuss some features of joint stock company. The first feature is a company is an artificial person. So as we know, a company doesn't have a physical body like a natural human being. So it is considered as an artificial person created by law. It exists independent of its members, which means the operations of the companies are performed by the elected representative of members known as directors. That means the members of the company elect a representative who is known as director, and this director runs the business in the name of the company. Second is separate legal entity. So as we have discussed earlier that the company and its members are considered as separate individuals. A company has its separate identity, which means it can buy and sell assets in its own name, or it can carry on the business in its own name, and we can also say it can enter into contract with outsider in its own name. Next is formation of a company. So formation of a company is a time consuming, expensive and complicated process. As we know, the companies are governed under Companies Act 2013. So it involves the preparation of several documents before it starts functioning. Next is perpetual succession. So perpetual succession means where the death, insolvency or incapacity of any members does not affect the existence of business, because the company is created by law and it can end up by legal procedure only. So perpetual succession is generally based on the principle that members may come and members may go, but the company goes on forever, which means the life of the company can come to an end through legal procedure of winding up. Next is control. So the company form of business is owned by the shareholders. Now who are these shareholders? See, the company issues the share to the general public and the general public subscribe to the share. So when the company allot these shares to the general public, they become the shareholders of the company. So these shareholders elect their representatives who are called the directors, or we can say board of directors of the company. So the board of directors manage and control the activities of the company by appointing the professional experts. So we can say that the company form of business is owned and controlled by the board of directors. Next is liability. The liability of the members of the company is limited to the extent of their share capital contribution in the company. For example, if a person has purchased 1000 shares of rupees 10 each, then his liability is limited up to rupees 10,000 only. Next is common seal. So as we know, company is an artificial person. So being an artificial person, the company cannot sign. So therefore, there is a need for common seal with its name engraved on it. And we know that the activities of the company are carried out through the group of people, or we can say the members of the company. So anyone acting on behalf of the company can make use of the common seal in place of signature. Next is transferability of shares. So what are shares? Shares are the capital of the companies which are divided into small units. So shares of the company are freely transferable by its members, and the shareholder is free to withdraw his membership from the company by selling his shares. Now we will discuss some advantages of joint stock company. So the first advantage is limited liability. So as we know, the members of the company's liability is limited to the extent of the capital contribution of the company. So the limited liability attracts many people to invest their money in the business, because in case of business suffers loss, the creditors cannot have claim over the personal property of the members. Next is large amount of capital. The biggest advantage of company form of business is that it can collect a large amount of capital by issuing the shares to the general public. So the people having small savings can also buy the shares of the company, because the value of share is very small. And apart from share capital, the company can collect the funds by raising the loans from the financial institutions. Next is growth and expansion. So as we know, a company has a large amount of capital, so there is more scope for growth and expansion of the company, because the company is having a large financial resources and their rate of profit is also high. So they can use this profit for expansion and growth of the company. Next is continuity. As we have already discussed, the company form of business enjoys perpetual succession, which means the company can end by the legal procedure only. So the death, insolvency and incapacity of any members does not affect the existence of the company. And the last advantage is public confidence. The public has more trust on company form of business compared to partnership. Why? Because the company publish their annual accounts, annual reports. So based on these annual reports, the general public knows the financial soundness and profit earning capacity of the company. So they can plan to invest in the securities of different companies. Whereas the partnership firm does not publish their annual accounts or annual reports. So there is a risk to invest in partnership firm. At last, we will discuss the disadvantages of joint stock company. So the first disadvantage is complexity in formation. As we have already discussed that the companies are formed under the Companies Act 2013. So there are many legal formalities, many documents which have to be completed and which have to be prepared. So it is quite expensive and it is complex to form the company form of business. Next disadvantage is delay in decision. So as we know, in company form of organization, all the decisions are taken by the board of directors, and once the decisions are taken, these have to be communicated to everyone, which is again a lengthy process because a large number of people are working in the company at different levels. Next is excessive government control. So as we know, the company form of business has to complete various legal formalities at different stages, and there is a penalty if the company fails to meet any of the formalities. So this legal interference in day-to-day operations results in spending a lot of time and lot of money. Next is conflict in interest. So as we know, in companies there are various group of peoples involved, such as shareholders, debenture holders, employees, directors, etc. Each group has different interest. For example, debenture holder wants their rate of interest to increase, whereas shareholders want to reduce it. So there is a possibility of conflict between various groups. So the last disadvantage is oligarchic management. Everybody wants democratic setup in the company form of business, but this democratic setup exists only on paper. In real practice, the company is in hands and control of few peoples, that is directors, as the directors have the complete control over the company. So now moving on to the next topic, which is types of companies. So there are two types of companies, private company and public company. So private company means a company which has a minimum of 2 and maximum of 50 members excluding employees. It restricts the right of members to transfer their shares. Private company does not offer its shares to the general public, and the minimum paid up capital of private company is rupees 1 lakh. Next is public company. So public company is one which has a minimum of 7 and maximum of no limit number of members. It permits easy transfer of shares. It invites general public to subscribe its public deposit shares and debentures. And also the public company has a minimum paid up capital of rupees 5 lakhs. Now we will discuss some privileges of private company over public company, or we can say advantages of private company over public company. So the first advantage is a private company can be formed with only 2 members, whereas 7 members are needed to form a public company. So private company needs minimum 2 members and public company needs minimum 7 members to form the company. Private company must have at least 2 directors, whereas public company must have minimum 3 directors. So directors are the person who are elected by the shareholders of the company, and the directors owns and manage the company. A private company can issue loan to its director without the permission of government, whereas public company has to make permission of government before giving loans to its directors. Next is, it is not necessary for a private company to issue a prospectus, whereas it is essential for a public company to issue its prospectus. As we know, prospectus is an invitation to the general public to invest in the company in the form of shares or debentures. A private company is not required to maintain the index of members, while the same is necessary in case of a public company. The last topic of this chapter, which is choice of form of business organization. So as we have learned in this chapter that there are various types of business organizations, for example, partnership firm, sole proprietorship firm, joint Hindu family business, cooperative societies, company form of business. So each of these forms of business organization have its own features, merits and demerits. So on comparing their features, merits and demerits, it is very difficult to say that which is the best form of business organization. So each form of business organization is suitable for different business ventures. So there are certain factors which should be kept in mind while selection of suitable form of business organization.
So the first factor which should be kept in mind while selecting the form of business organization is nature of business. So the type of business which the businessman wants to start is the most important factor of choosing the forms of business organization. So, if direct personal contact is needed with customers, or for personal attention and direct contact with customers, sole proprietorship and partnership firm is preferred. Such as in case of grocery store, proprietor may be more suitable. Proprietor can have direct contact with the customer. But for large manufacturing units, as we know, the manufacturer and the customers do not have the direct link. So the direct personal contact with the customer is not required. So their company form of organization is adopted. And for rendering services, cooperative organization is more preferable. And also the firms requiring heavy investment also prepare company form of business organization. Now, the next important factor which helps in deciding the form of business is the capital consideration, which means the amount of finance required. So, the business requiring less amount of finance prefers sole proprietorship and partnership form. So, the selection of these firm is done on the basis of limited capital, because the one who decides to start sole proprietorship firm and partnership firm will be having a limited capital with them, whereas the business requiring huge financial resources prefer company form of business. As we know, companies are in better position to collect large amount of capital by issuing shares to a large number of investors. So they will be having a large amount of capital. So for this, company form of business organization is preferred. Next factor is degree of control. So if the businessman desires complete and independent control over the business, then he has to prefer sole proprietorship firm. As we know, in sole proprietorship firm, a single person is the owner of the business. He has the total control over the business. He can take any decision. He is free to make any decision. And also he is not bounded by anybody's action. So for independent control, sole proprietorship firm is preferred. But if the owner do not mind sharing control and decision making, then partnership or company form of business organization can be adopted. Next factor is legal formalities. If the businessman wants to avoid legal formalities and he would prefer easy formation, then the most suitable form is sole proprietorship and partnership firm. Whereas there are many legal formalities involved in company form and cooperative form of business organization. So for involvement of legal formalities, companies and cooperative form of business organization is adopted. Next factor is liability. So as we have already learned that in case of sole proprietorship and partnership firm, the liabilities of the owners and the partner is unlimited, which means they may be called for paying the debts of the business from the personal assets of the owners, which means when the business is not able to pay off its debts, then the personal property of the owners and the partners may be used for paying off the business debts. But in joint Hindu family business, only Karta has unlimited liability. So those who prefer sole proprietorship, partnership and joint Hindu family business will have to bear unlimited liability. And for limited liability, as we know, in cooperative societies and companies forms of business organization, liability is limited and the creditors can force payment of their claims only to the extent of company's assets. They will not have to use their personal asset to pay off the company's debts or business debts. So from the point of view of investors, company form of organization is more suitable as the risk involved in company form of business is limited. Next factor is management ability. So the business requiring efficient management have to select the company form of business. As we know, a large group of people works in a company and the whole work of the company is divided into small tasks, and each task is performed by a person who is competitive enough or capable enough of doing that task. So for efficient management, professional experts have to be hired and they charge big salary, and only company form can afford it. So for efficient management, company form of business organization is adopted. So the sole proprietorship firm and partnership firm is suitable where simplicity of operations allow even with the people of limited skills to run the business. So for simple operations of business, sole proprietorship and partnership firm is adopted. Next important factor is continuity. So temporary and ad hoc business should prefer sole proprietorship and partnership form because the sole proprietorship and partnership firms gets affected by events such as deaths or insolvency or insanity of the owners. So these factors affects the business. But the enterprise which are set up for long run and of permanent nature should prefer the company form of business organization so that they can arrange large funds and expand and grow. Now the last factor is cost and ease in setting up the organization. Sole proprietorship is the most inexpensive way of starting a business because the legal requirements are minimum in sole proprietorship firm and also the scale of operation is very small. Same is in the case of partnership also. The advantage of less legal formalities and lower cost is there because of limited scales of operations. But the cooperative societies and the companies have to be compulsorily registered. So the formation of a company involves a lengthy and expensive legal procedure. So for expensive form of business organization, company form of business is preferred. So we have learned all the factors which should be kept in mind while selecting the form of business organization. And with this, we have completed the second chapter of business studies. In the next session, we'll be starting with the third chapter. So that's all for today. Thank you.